like 6 o'clock, I'm gonna go live. It's just gonna be a test type deal. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me about Bones, my brother's dog, and that whole story. So I'll get into that. A couple other things. I had jury duty yesterday. That was kind of a nightmare. But yeah, so 6 o'clock. Just a test run. I might actually delete the whole thing, but I mean, I was shocked. Last video, I think it was last week, I was just testing live streaming, and I told my son to go on under his YouTube so he could ask me a question and I could answer the question and see if this thing works. And by the time I logged on, I had like a whole mess of people. By the end, it was like hundreds of people. Like right now, you guys are starting to ask me questions. So that's good. I thought I'd be waiting around and stuff. But before my son could even ask me a question, there was like 10 people asking me questions already. Yeah, I was shocked, man. I didn't know you guys is on it like that. But yeah, so it's cool. Another thing, I also figured out how to do this whole thing about graffiti, and then a lot of people are asking me about people from my neighborhood and criminals and crimes that had taken place. I figured out how I'm going to do this. I'm not going to talk about it. Now, if I happen to be with a certain person when I'm talking about my life, then yes, I will talk about the person. I'll say, yes, so-and-so was with me. And later on, if someone asks me, who is that person? Then I could break it down a little better. But I really want to keep this about graffiti, because most of the criminal cases and the people I hung out with, it was all like media attention, and you could Google shit and figure it out on your own. It's always police involved, and newspapers and the media and news channels and stuff like that. So you guys could always look through it that way. I will be discussing the story about the dog that my brother owned, which was an Argentine Dogo. And I will talk about the situation that happened when the Lexus program, which is a beautiful program that helps save greyhounds, race dogs. They actually saved Bones' life and gave it to this lady that's supposed to be training dogs of aggression and this and that. Now she gets paid for every single dog that she gets. So she pretty much starved the dog and buried him in the backyard and said, hey, the dog, someone stole the dog. Like someone actually came to her property in Ohio and stole just that dog out of like 17 or 18 other dogs in kenneled cages next to the dog. The only dog they took was Bones. And she said, doesn't Sean Dyer have a brother? And all of a sudden she's sending the police my fucking way over here in New York. Meanwhile, she killed the fucking dog and buried it in her backyard. After she moved out of that place and someone bought the house and built the pool, they found, I think it was like 9 or 10 dogs buried on that property. Dogs that she was getting paid to take care of. Very similar if you were like a home for children. You could, if you got a good record and you have a big house and property and you make enough money, you could be like a temporary adoption for children and get paid a lot of money, like $2,000 a month. So it's almost the same with dogs as with children. They pay you like, I don't know, $1,000 a month per dog. You kill the fucking dog, don't feed the dog, and you get $1,000 a month. That's what the bitch did. So I'll get into it. I actually printed up the case. It was Ohio, Toledo, Ohio. It was in the New York Times. It was in all the local papers, and it was labeled as the pet cemetery. I'm also trying to stay still so the camera don't skip out like it just did. But it is still clicking, so I guess you guys see me. Take care of yourselves, man. I'll see you at 6 o'clock p.m. That's U.S. time, America time, Eastern Seaboard time. Okay? Peace.